Yo. What's going on, man? Today is January the 22nd, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show where I am live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as always. Beautiful uh, slate. I think it's a lot of value in the slate, and we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna get right into it, but as I always ask, as you guys enter, do me a favor, smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and definitely turn the notification bell on. If you guys want access to my top plays, they're always posted. I mean, I'm gonna give them to you guys most of the time anyway, but on the weekend, typically don't have as much action just because we see a lot of crazy stuff going on the weekend. But handicap these games and try to give you guys my best looks and my best angles on the game. So we're gonna jump right into it for today. Uh, I did do a show Saturday. Saturday I talked about top play being Cavaliers, and they did get the job done. So it was a one and one day because we did take a live play as well. It was a smaller play on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Charlotte Hornets to go over in the third quarter. But they struggled. They didn't even score that many points in the third quarter either. It was a super low scoring first half, and in the third quarter, not a lot of points being scored as well. Both teams on the second leg of a back to back there. So we were up on the day, and real quick, I do have my season to date as well. So 1-1 on Saturday. Sunday, I didn't play anything. So plus 0.35 units, almost a half a unit there. On the season, I am 181 and 150 and 3. So we're up 23.69 units and always looking to build on that. We got, 8 games, I think it is, in the NBA today. Some injury news that still affects the slate. So let's jump right into it for today, man. Let's get into it. Like I said, hit the like button for me if you can. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We got new members, Mark, my guy Jamie. What's up, Tasha? S. Dot. Logo Magic Carp, I think is how that's pronounced. He says, "Let's build." Absolutely. Tasha says, "Como estás?" Tasha know a little Spanish. Okay. Young Harlow, Justin, Kenneth, all the guys. Prolific. Um, yeah, Big Marv. We got a lot going on in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys for being here. What's up, David? He says happy Monday to everybody. CAC Reacts. What's going on? Let's get to it for today, man. Let's go to first game on the board. We are going to I'm trying to go in order. Let's see. We got Bucks and we got Pistons. Let me just make sure the line hasn't changed any. So total everything's the same right now. So 12 and a half, it looks like the consensus. We got a little bit of money coming in on the Bucks in this spot. Crazy enough. Um, real quick, let me update the banner. So, all right, so we got Milwaukee. They will be in Detroit again. This game we were doing a live show when this game happened on Saturday the other day, and probably a little frustrated with myself not backing the Bucks and that's backing the Pistons in that spot. They were getting way too many points. The Bucks are not good right now. They're winning games, but they're barely winning games, and they're not covering spreads. The Bucks are 1-9 against the spread in their last 10. The only cover they actually had in the last 10 games actually came against the Boston Celtics when Boston was off that overtime game versus Minnesota at home and had to travel. That was a really, really bad spot for Boston in the second leg of a back-to-back, of course. Milwaukee also just 8-11 against the spread on the road this season. This Detroit team actually playing a lot better basketball recently. They're 6-4 ATS in their last 10 games. A lot of contributions from guys off the bench. I think Alex Burke is averaging like 20-something points off their bench. Without Cade being there, you get a keys to Jaden Ivey. Some of those, other guys actually coming in and making plays as well. This team is actually looking formidable, a lot better than they did earlier in the season. So I haven't placed the bet in this game yet, but I may potentially get there with Detroit. I do think that Milwaukee, you can't expect the team to win by margin. 12 points is almost two touchdowns. You can't expect them to win by margin if they're not playing any defense. I'm looking at the Pistons. They have the 9th offensive rating over the last 5 games. The Bucks, number 3 in offensive rating. Both teams top 5, bottom 5 in defensive rating the last 5 games. Detroit 7th in pace, and Milwaukee 4th in pace. So to me, all of that kind of leads towards an over, right? We got 2 teams in the top 10 offensively, 2 teams in the bottom 5 defensively, and both teams playing with pace. I like the over in this game. the trend that we talk about all the time, right? The one where two teams play against each other within a short time frame. So like even especially if it's within 3 days, the first game goes over, the bookmakers open the total a little bit higher. The second game, the trend is actually 52, 33, and 3 to the over. That's 61.2% since the 2017 season. And this season, the trend is actually 8-3, so 72.7%. The game did go over by 30 plus points the other day. So give me the points with the Pistons if I had to play this one. I'm definitely taking the points with the Pistons, and I'm also taking the total to go up and over 247.5 if I had to play this one. So those are my thoughts. Let me see what you guys. I didn't really look into from a player prop perspective. Although I will tell you this, because neither one of these teams play too much defense, you can just go with the guys, right? If you had a chance to watch that game versus these two teams on Saturday, Detroit kind of built the wall against Giannis. So Dame had to, score a lot of points. And I could see, them continuing to have to score a lot of points. If I like the over, I think there's a lot of money to be made on player props in this game, although I haven't really taken anything. But Dame points over, Alex Burke to continue his hot shooting, I think is, absolutely something that could happen in this spot as well. So a lot of different ways I think you can make some money, in the player prop market. Let's see what you guys are seeing in the chat. Damie says Giannis may get a lot of looks today. I don't think Detroit lets Dame go off again like that, but I could be wrong. I don't think Detroit has a whole bunch of good defenders, Jamie. Like I think when you look at Detroit, I said that they were, bottom. What did I say? Bottom 5 defensively. Their defense is stink, right? They're just their offense. That's the reason they've been playing a little bit better because their offense has gotten better. Their defense still sucks. They can't guard anybody, but they're playing with a lot of pace. They're pushing the ball. So I think, Dame and Giannis, in my estimation, maybe it's not Dame and Giannis. Maybe it's Dame and somebody else, or maybe it's Giannis and somebody else. But to me, somebody has to be able to score. So I'd be looking at either Dame, Giannis, or Chris Middleton. One of them are going to have to go over in this game. Total is high. I think it's high for a reason. So I do like the over in this spot. Tasha says what I said. Bucks defense suck, and it absolutely does. We got some football stuff in here. Big Marv says go Lions. Estat says Lions was easy. Justin giving us some NCAA basketball. He says Montana over 144, best college basketball bet. What's up to my guy EQ? Estat reminding everybody to smash the like button as you arrive. Appreciate that. What else we got? David says this slate scares me. Everything in the NBA is kind of scary right now, to be honest. What's up, Lonnie? Appreciate you for being here and tapping in. What's up, Adrian? He says let's eat today. What up, Zay? He says what's up, Chris? Love from VUU in Richmond, Virginia Union University. I actually started at Virginia Union way back in the day, man. Appreciate you for being here, Zay. I know all about store and all that good stuff over there in the Birches. Yeah, man. What up, Zay? What else we got? J props like Durham rebounds at 10 and the Pistons plus 12. Kirby says, Chris, give us a super lotto today to start the week. I'll pin this and we can come up with one at the end, Kirby. I think something to sprinkle on to get the juices flowing for the beginning of the week. I couldn't talk you off. Icy says, how you feel about the total on that game? Only over me, Icy. Only way I could play it. Both teams, like I said, bottom 10, bottom 5 defensively, top 5 offensively. Both teams playing top 7 in pace as well. And neither team really have a look ahead spot either. I did look into that also. Chase says, Chris, I recently became a member. However, you do not know how to find your you do not know how to find your plays when you post them from members. Can you tell me how to do so? Yeah, Chase, I'll pin this as well, but shoot me a DM on Twitter. It'll be a little bit quicker. I don't want to slow the show up a little too much. But the biggest thing is just make sure you subscribe to the $5.99 membership and not the $2.99. The $2.99 is like support the channel. $5.99. If you subscribe to $5.99 membership, you get an email every single time I post a play, which you should have got one email early this morning because I put a play in early, and we'll get to that in a second. Go Young DJ says Bucks can't guard anybody. I said the same thing. Tasha says repeat Saturday pick. First half Detroit plus 8.5 team total over 115. I like both of these, Tasha. I do like both of these because if Detroit runs out of gas, it's typically late, either third quarter or fourth quarter. So this makes a lot of sense to me. And look at Tasha actually putting her hard-earned money on the Detroit Pistons. That's growth right there from Tasha. I like it. I like it a lot. What else? What else we got? What else we got? Plus Money Bet says anybody like Alex Burks points today? I mean, I don't know how you couldn't Plus Money Bet. He's been cooking. He's been absolutely cooking. If you go in and look, I don't have time to break down the numbers, but you go in and look at it, he's been, one of those lead guards for sure. Dante likes Pistons in the first quarter. He says the Pistons are 7-3 last 10 at home in the first quarter. They're 4-1 last 5 in the first quarter, 3-0 last 3, and the Bucks 2-8. I did see this. The Bucks are 2-8 ATS last 10 on the road in the first quarter. 1-4 last 5 and 0-3 last 3. So he's following the strong trends to fade this Milwaukee Bucks team early in the game. I could not talk you off. What's up, Jay Gill? Young Harlow says, I forgot to mention something to you a couple days ago for future reference. My Pacers are 1-6 on back-to-backs. It will be worse now since I saw that stat around that time. Yeah, I don't think they got a big back-to-back coming up, but the Pacers do got a really big game coming up tomorrow against the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about that game. What's up, Sean? Justin says he didn't get an email. Yeah, we'll talk about it, Justin. You should have definitely got an email. That says check your spam folder. He got the email. Jem says wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks cover for real. I would be surprised if the Bucks cover, but enough on that game. Let's keep going. Next game up, we got Spurs and we got 76ers. This game is, let me just check and make sure the line is updated. So it's actually come down from the 14.5 that you guys see on the screen down to 14. So a little bit of money coming in on the San Antonio Spurs in this spot. This game will be played in Philadelphia tonight. And this is a difficult game, man. I'll tell you guys, the first thing I kind of looked at, I typically start my handicapping process by checking the spots for all these different teams. So when I'm looking at the spot for the 76ers and for the 76ers and for the San Antonio Spurs, the first thing that jumps out to me is, first of all, I don't want, 14 is not a number that I typically feel too comfortable laying. I know Philadelphia is really, really good, especially at home, 16-6, straight up and against the spread. They're winning by about 14 points per game at home. So, and they are covering numbers as well, but it's not the greatest spot for them. It's not the greatest spot for either one of these teams. Both teams, however, are actually on their 5th game in 8 nights. This is not a spot where I'm definitely not laying 14 points on a team that's playing 5th game in 8 nights. San Antonio Spurs, they fought hard for people who had a chance to watch that game against the Washington Wizards. I think they went on like a 14-6 run or a 22-6 run or something like that to actually win that game the other day with Victor Wembanyama coming back. But it's not the greatest spot. San Antonio is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Zach Collins still listed as questionable. A bunch of guys on that Philadelphia injury report. And then, Philly also got to go back on the road after this as well. San Antonio, this is the reason why I don't necessarily like the spot for San Antonio as much, because sometimes when San Antonio lose, they absolutely get the doors blown off. We've seen that happen against Boston, another top tier, competitive team. I know that they've been covering numbers, and I would probably take the points before I lay them the 14. This is also an NBA TV game, and we've seen Victor Wembanyama. He typically plays well when he plays against other superstars. I know I've talked about that on the show before, so I'm not sure. I think what San Antonio does well, Philadelphia defense kind of neutralizes. They shoot a lot of threes. Philly does, defend the 3-point line pretty well. Philly is also 5-0 in their last 5 games. They've covered 4 of their last 5 spreads as well. So I'm not really sure what to do with this game. We did back Philly successfully on Friday, the only game that we actually got right. They beat Orlando 124-109. Uninspiring game against the Charlotte Hornets on the second leg of that back-to-back. They only won by 8 when they were laying 12 points in that spot. So Philly, they got the game with the Pacers coming up on what is that? On Thursday, I want to say Thursday or Friday. So no play for me on this game. I look at the total. I do see it coming down. It opened at 238. And the only reason I couldn't get involved on the under because San Antonio offense, can struggle at times. The only reason I couldn't get involved in the under is because when I look at Philly and they have high totals at home, I want to say if the total's like 237 or higher. 235 or higher. They go over every single time. So to me, what that lends me to is Philadelphia team total over, but I'm not sure if they're going to need to score that many points. You can get burnt by taking some of these teams that are heavy favorites to go over their team total when they don't necessarily need to score that many points, right? Like if you took Philly team total over in the last game against Charlotte, it might have probably been like 120 something. They won that game and scored 97 points. So, but for all of those reasons, I don't have an official play on this game. Not a game that I'm super interested in, if I'm being quite honest with you guys. Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. Let's see if we got any looks here. What we got? Blaze said you don't write down your picks in anymore. Why? I do. I don't always type them all the way out, Blaze. Because I like to give you guys my thought process. Y'all take whatever it is that y'all want, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to kind of talk through the games. I know what I'm gonna bet. Sometimes I might have a late ad just based on an injury or something like that, but I just like talking the games out, letting you guys hear what I'm looking at, and you make whatever play it is that you want. The members have plays. I'll definitely share the plays with the members, but I mean, y'all can just kind of take the show and see how confident you feel. Hopefully, you've done your own handicapping, and that makes sense. Whatever makes sense, especially if you were kind of leaning that way as well. Cat React says he likes Victor Wembanyama points and assists over 24 and a half at minus 125. So him versus Embiid tonight. Taylor says kind of like Philly team total over 125 and a half. That's the way I'm kind of looking as well. I don't know if they'll necessarily need to score that many points, but it could be there for sure. Lamar says Anthony Edwards over his points tonight. He likes him in a bounce back spot. Anthony Edwards turned the ball over a lot in that game. We'll talk about the Timberwolves in a second. Coop says going with a trend. I've noticed with the Spurs, they allow the most rebounds to small forwards. So he's rolling with Tobias Harris, points plus rebounds over 22 and a half. That's probably not a bad look, Coop. Hopefully you get some cash there. Dante says the Sixers in home wins 16-0 against the spread. Margin of victory 18 points. I can tell where he's going with this. Sixers top 10 three percentage last 5 games and defending the 3. Spurs bottom 5 at defending the 3 last 5 games. He's taking Spurs. He's taking Sixers minus the 13 and a half. And that's what I kind of said. I think that's why the spread is so big, because I'm not sure how they score. If Philly wants to come in here and really lock this San Antonio team down, they do have the defenders to be able to do so. I'm just not sure how motivated they're going to be in this spot. Could be. Joel Embiid probably does want to go out there because this is a national TV game. Want to go out there and kind of assert his dominance, but we'll see how it goes. Estai says Embiid over his points and rebounds, national TV game, going against the future, etc. That makes a lot of sense. Lamar says Embiid double plus Philly to win. Wonder what the odds are there, Lamar. I couldn't talk you off of that. That seems like a good look for sure. Tasha agrees with me. She says that team total at 126 is a little too high for her comfort. Jerry says 76ers and Bucks have high spreads that are calling him. High spreads are calling me. So he wants to lay the big numbers today. What else we got? San Antonio is normally pretty good in the first half, but I don't know about tonight. Yeah, it's a difficult one, man. It's definitely difficult. Tasha says I have to take the 13 and a half with the points with the Spurs. It could be a live betting game. It could definitely be a live betting game. I think, depending on how it goes and how you kind of project it to go, I could definitely see it. What's up, JT? And the SK says, Chris, he says, Kobe dropped 81 on this day. Any player that look up to him seems like Tatum tonight? Yeah, I was watching those highlights last night. I was watching the Laker game late last night. They were showing the highlights from that game. I still remember that game. I think I was in 11th grade. It could definitely be. And Tatum didn't do anything last night. I don't know if people was watching. Porzingis had a big game. Derek White had a big game. Jaylen Brown got, his second or third career triple-double. Tatum had 14, 15 points. I think it could be a big Tatum game tonight for sure. I could not talk anybody off Tatum points. And they're going to have to score too, because without Porzingis, the defense gets worse. So they're going to need to score more points. I couldn't talk anybody off Tatum tonight. Bet on JC says Embiid about to put Victor Wembanyama in the dryer. What up, Jermaine? Let's see. Let's keep going. So I do have action on this game. The next game is Cleveland Cavaliers, who will be in Orlando, taking on the tired. I hope they're super tired. Orlando Magic in this spot. This line actually opened last night. It was 1.5 in favor of the Orlando Magic last night. So I did a lot of deep diving in this game. So I'm on the Cavs in this spot. I think it's super public, but I think the Orlando Magic as a home dog is also a pretty super public play, where they're 6-3 straight up and against the spread as home dogs this season. So here's the quick the breakdown. So first and foremost, I love revenge angles, right? But I'm not just looking for revenge angles. But this is a revenge angle for the Cavs. They lost 104-94 in Cleveland. They lost a home game on December 11th as 2.5-point dogs in that spot. So they were projected to lose. From a rest advantage standpoint, this will only be their third game in the last 6 days, whereas for the Magic, it's the second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, and a fourth game in 6 nights. So you guys know I'm a situational bettor, especially when I'm, like actually giving out a play. So last 5 games say that Cleveland has been the better offensive team, the better defensive team, and the better rebounding team. Franz Wagner did come back last night in that game against Miami, and he actually played well. His status for today's game was actually undecided based on Coach Mosley's post-game interview, because I went through and listened to it last night. He did play less than 30 minutes, but it was his first game back after missing like 5 or 6 games. I'm not sure how many games it was that he missed. So the couple things I looked at the Cavs specifically. This team is 12-3 straight up, 11-4 against the spread without Darius Garland and Evan Mobley this season. That's absolutely insane to me. 12-3 straight up without Garland and without Mobley. It's actually better than they are when they are there. They're 10-6 straight up, 6-8-2 against the spread. So they're not even profitable against the spread when they did have Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. But 12-3 straight up, 11-4, to me that seems trustworthy. We know that they've been, just racking up wins. The Magic, like I said, 6-3 straight up and against the spread at home dogs. But the Cavs, 5-2 straight up as road favorites this season as well. So they've been, taking care, and we've been cashing with the Cavs. We've cashed the last couple times with the Cavs. Cavs are also 6-2 straight up this season when they're more rested, and 5-0 when they're more rested than they're 6-2 straight up this season when they're more rested than their opponent, and 5-0 straight up when their opponents are unrested. So if they're playing against an unrested opponent, they have yet to lose a game. Knock on wood. Hopefully that continues. From a league-wide perspective, one thing I looked at was more rested road favorites facing an unrested opponent that's actually off a win. In the sports killer in the killer base let me get this right. In the Killer Sports database, those teams are 245 and 114. That's 68.2%. Dating all the way back to 1995. 9 of the last 11 opponents for the Cleveland Cavaliers have actually stayed under their team total. This was just something I wanted to note as well, without Darius Garland and without Evan Mobley being a part of the lineup as well. So one thing, the reason why I mentioned that is because I'm actually keeping that in my notes section, like just in my mind, because we've been cashing with taking the team total under for whoever the New York Knicks have been playing. But what I'm just telling you guys is 9 of the last 11, that's something that I'm willing to ride. 9 of the last 11 opponents for this Cleveland Cavalier team have actually stayed under their team total as well. So the Cavs are playing defense, they're rebounding the ball, they're making outside shots, and I think Orlando runs out of gas in this spot. I know Markelle Fultz got rolled out. Not 100% sure, what lineup they're going to have out there, but I think the Cavs kind of keep it rolling today. I also kind of lean towards the under as well initially. Didn't play it, but I did play the Cavs. I took them as a dog last night when they were plus 1.5. I still endorse the -1, 2, 3, whatever it is right now. I do think that they win the game in this spot. Also lean towards the under as far as the total. Both of these teams are playing really, really good defense. You hear the post interview last night. Coach Jamal Mosley says that, these guys are priding themselves on the defensive end. They're coming in, they're sitting down every day, when they're out there on the floor. And that's what this team is built off of. And you can kind of tell that that's what they're built off of. Now they have Wendell Carter Jr. back. Who's a better defender than Gogo Batadze, and they're getting a little bit more healthy. I don't like it necessarily in this spot, and I think they could struggle with turning the ball over. When they turn the ball over, as we've known, if you've been rocking with me throughout the season, when they turn the ball over, you see the other team get up and down the floor, and that's when the totals have actually gone over. A lot of games where they played against the Brooklyn Nets twice this season. So give me the I won't play the total, but I still lean towards the under. But give me the Cavs in this spot. Gave it out last night. This is the play that I gave out last night. Let's see what you guys are on in this one. Let's go back to the comment section real quick. My guy Courtney says he likes a bonus rebounds over tonight. We'll get to that game. David says Chris just told us he's 21 years old. Fresh face. I wish I was. Justin got him on. He got the Cavs on the money line, -121. I like it. I like it, Justin. Let's hopefully we can get some cash there, and the Cavs can stay hot. Jermaine says staying home today. Philly everything. Bid over Maxi Sixers RL. I'm not sure what RL is. JT says Jared Allen. He likes him over his 11.5 rebounds. Markel says he got the Cavs alt today. Sometimes Markel be going out there on a limb. He says he got the Cavs at -6 today, special number. And what's up to you as well, Markel? Colin says he played Jared Allen double-double in the win. A little player performance double action at +140 on DraftKings. Didn't like the line shot. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of that, Colin. Could not talk you off. What's up, Hobby? He says, I know the Cavs are great, Chris, but the team that they've been playing aren't really comp. The Wizards, the Spurs, the Atlanta Hawks, etc. And Orlando has played the Knicks, Philly, etc. Orlando fully healthy. Why not them? So first and foremost, Hobby, I couldn't talk you off, right? This is a toss-up of a game. That's why you see the spread where it is, right? But when I see these close spreads, that's when I really try to dive in and figure out the side that I like the most. When I can play the money line or I'm getting plus points, and the money has come in, right? So we got some positive CLV if you took this last night when I gave it out, when they were +1.5 on BetMGM. And I couldn't talk you off if you like Orlando, but I think that Orlando runs out of gas in this spot. It's a typical letdown spot, right? Like, it's not that I think that Cleveland is better than Orlando. I think that they're, pretty similar. But when I talk about the spot, right? When I talk about the current form, so if I'm telling you that that one team's played 3 games in the last 6 days and the other team has played, this is going to be a third game for one team and the other team's playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights and a fourth game in 6 nights, I'm probably going to take the more rested team in that spot. Not that Orlando can't win. Don't get it wrong. I'm just on the Cavs in this spot. If you don't agree, you take the other. You go the other way. Dante says Magic team total under 107. Cavs haven't been giving up this number in the last 4 games and 6 of their last 8 games in January. I would agree with that. Lamar says Cavs also have been owning the Magic. Won 7 of the last 9, he believes. I think I saw it. I looked at that as well. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, right? Nothing is going to be easy. This Orlando team is good, but I do think the Cavs being more rested. I can see a young Orlando team turning the ball over. Fran's second game back, not being as efficient or effective as he was in the last game. And like I said, I'm not worried about the Cavs turning the ball over. They haven't been doing that. I'm not worried about them getting out-rebounded. They've been rebounding the ball. They've been sharing the ball. So I like the Cavs, man. Like I said, Jamie likes Jared Allen over his 14.5 rebounds and assists. So he's hit this line in 10 of his last 11 games, he believes. Let's see. What else? Tasha says she's took the Cavs money line earlier. Jermaine says Embiid points, Maxi points, Suns run line, money line, I think is what he means. Jerry says he's on the Cavs -1.5 is cool, but 2.5, not much more. Cavs have been hot. The under a good play too. He says 15 and 20 unders between the two. And Kenny saying that Cade just got ruled out. I don't think I saw that news, but I kind of figured Cade wouldn't play. We got Halliburton listed as questionable tomorrow. Monte Morris listed as out. Yeah, these guys weren't expected to play anyway. Isaiah Stewart did get ruled in. Jaden Springer, Patrick Beverly ruled out. And I want to say that's it. That's it so far. Donovan Mitchell, 30 points tonight is what Jay Props like. And SK says Mitchell off a bad shooting night too. So would think he bounces back. I could definitely see that as well. He said he was 0 for 6 from the 3-point line in that game against Atlanta. And they took care of Atlanta. Took care of us as well. Giannis is ruled in. So if you want that total, it's probably gonna go up. But that 247.5 is probably something that that I would recommend taking as well. 247.5, 247, wherever you can get the best of the number. I would be putting that in now because with Giannis being ruled in, you can expect that number to go up. Probably a point or two is what I'm thinking. Let's see. Estai says Cavs money line, Strus over his points. Okay. All right, let's keep going. We got 3 games down. We got a few more to get to, so let's speed up just a tad bit. Next game, we got Grizzlies and we got Raptors. This game will be played in Toronto tonight. The Grizzlies come in. We know that they are completely decimated with injuries. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games, though. 4-6 against the spread. Toronto, not the greatest home team. 10-11 straight up in against the spread. They're also 5-5 in their last 10 games. Both of these teams are actually off back-to-back losses and non-covers. This is the third game of a 4-game road trip for the Memphis Grizzlies. Their last stop is actually in Miami. They play Miami, but they do get a couple of days off of rest in between. Looks like they play on Thursday. They'll play on Wednesday. I'm sorry. Toronto. I mentioned them being on back-to-back losses as well. They were looking good. They smashed Miami when I was on Miami, but haven't won a game since. They lost to Chicago. They lost to the Knicks as well. Chicago didn't cover either spread either, and for their last 4 games have actually gone under. And I think the common trend here is that they go under because they've actually been playing against really, really good defensive teams. You look at Memphis, Memphis has lost to the Bulls and to the Timberwolves, 2 really slow defensive teams. Toronto, on the other hand, they've lost to the Bulls and the Knicks, 2 really slow, good defensive teams as well. So with this total, I know it's coming down just a tad bit. I want to say it opened at 226. I think first of all, I'm not laying 7 with Toronto. I think, can they win the game by 7? Yes, but I think they still got to develop some continuity. I know Memphis is not necessarily the greatest team. I do think Toronto covers. I just don't know if I can lay 7 with them in this spot. 7 is a big number for me. And I kind of need to see you prove it before I do that. I know that the Grizzlies are extremely decimated, but we've seen them stay kind of hang around in games. I see Zach Collins just got listed as available to play. We've seen this Grizzlies team kind of be able to hang around and stay in games. This total opened at 225.5, and you see it up to 226 in some places. I actually like the under. I don't think Memphis is going to play fast. I think Toronto. I know that they're still without Jakob Poeltl, but they've actually been going under in their last couple games as well. I don't see Memphis really pushing the pace, trying to play too fast in this game. So both of these teams needing to score, about 112 to 114 points in this spot. I think this one goes under. I do think it goes under. I didn't play the game. Xavier Tillman also still listed as questionable. He means a lot to that front court because they're already down everybody in the back court, and now the front court is actually injured as well. They really only have Luke Kennard and Jared Jackson Jr. in as starters. So no play for me at all in this game, but I do kind of lean towards the under. I think it's a tad bit too many points. So those are my thoughts there. Jay Props, let's go back to the chat. Jay Props says Jared Jackson Jr. under 27.5 points in the whole game under 225. So some agreement there on the total. He also likes Jared Jackson Jr. under 27.5. I'm interested to know why you like the under when they don't really have a big man to stop him, Jay Props. Let me know why you like that. Mr. Nice Guy says he likes RJ Barrett over his 21. I couldn't talk anybody off there. JT leaning the other way. He says he leans Jared Jackson Jr. over 26.5. EQ says Triple J over 1.5 blocks. So a lot of people like Jared Jackson Jr. tonight. He's not a guy I typically bet on. Takari says he likes Jared Jackson Jr. He took him for 25 earlier. Hobby says he took the under here. He said did buy some points. Philly first half money line plus Toronto under 233.5 is minus 120. I couldn't talk you off. He said also thank you for your explanation earlier. Let's see. CAC React says I got Tillman under 18.5 points and rebounds. So even though Michael Porter Jr. little brother gonna be out there, people still kind of fading. People kind of fading the front court and thinking that those guys won't score as much. That's interesting. Tariq says, "What's up, Chris? Hopped on late. Hope all is well. We'll rewind and watch later. Yeah, we'll speed the show up so you don't have to watch too much, Tariq. But yeah, we just broke down the first couple games. I appreciate you tapping in as always and showing the support. Let's keep going. Next game up. Don't sound like a lot of people interested in that Grizzlies and Raptors game, and I'm not either. Another game I'm not extremely interested in is the Charlotte Hornets and the Minnesota Timberwolves here. So I've been talking to you guys about this for a while. The Charlotte Hornets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Charlotte Hornets specifically, a team that is really, really difficult to bet against. You just don't know what you're going to get. Will they cover spreads? Most of the time, no. They're not a good ATS team. Matter of fact, they're the second worst ATS team in the league outside of the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks are the worst ATS team so far this season. The problem is every single time Charlotte plays against any team that is slightly competitive, and we know the Minnesota Timberwolves are, they should be motivated, especially after blowing that lead against the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day. They're going to be getting 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 points. Like this team has been a double-digit road dog so many times this season, And you just really don't know how to. For me, I don't know how to judge this team when they're in that spot specifically. I think about like sometimes they'll do that like really weird thing where they'll cover a game and they'll keep it close and then they'll get blown out late, or they'll get blown out early and they'll come back. And we know LaMelo, who sat out in that last game, he sat out in the game against Philly. He will play in this game. So let's just look at that real quick. I don't think I looked at this. So double-digit dog on the road. They are 1-10 straight up this season, 4-7. So fading them has been profitable about 63% of the time so far. 6-5 to the over. Those games are averaging about 220, 230 points. And those are when that's when they're double-digit dogs. So man, it's still just really, really difficult because it's almost like a coin flip. It's really almost like a coin flip. You see them come out, play pretty good basketball early. The spot for Charlotte, looking at the head-to-head matchup, these two teams did play on December 3rd. And I remember watching that game. I'm sorry, December 2nd. I remember watching that game. Rudy Gobert dominated that game. I want to say he had like 20 rebounds. Let me see. He actually didn't. I want to say he did. Like, this says he only had 12 rebounds. Maybe he had all of them early, like in the first half or something. Because I remember him like being pretty dominant. Nobody could really stop him. I think Rudy Gobert double in the win, whatever his rebounds is, and like parlaying it with the money line is something that'll be good too. Charlotte's, I think, is going to struggle to score in this spot. I just don't see him scoring a lot of points in this game. However, when the total did go down, because this total went down to like 218, now you see it back up to 220. I do think that with LaMelo being in, they're going to push the pace just a tad bit. I do think that they'll play a little bit faster. Let's see if we got double-digit games with LaMelo Ball actually in this season, because a lot of those games came without LaMelo. So they've been a double-digit dog 3 times so far. A double-digit road dog 3 times so far this season with LaMelo. In those games, they're 0-3 straight up. They've covered one of those 2 spreads. They covered against the Mavericks. I remember that game too. It was on a Sunday. And they didn't cover against the Knicks. They didn't cover against the Pelicans. But all 3 of those games actually went over, though. And that's where I kind of lean in this one. I do think that this game, I may get there with the over, but I need Anthony Edwards to be ruled in. Anthony Edwards is still listed as questionable for this game. So I don't want to play it prematurely, but I do think the over is the best player in this game. I think Charlotte will. I don't know if Minnesota is going to be extremely locked in on the defensive end. And I think Charlotte will be able to score enough points to get this one up and over the total. Also, I think looking at the Timberwolves team total just to go over. I think they force a bunch of turnovers from Charlotte. They get up and down the floor. I think they got a lot of guys that, can be able to score the ball in this game. So their team total specifically is not a bad look either. I'm looking at the Charlotte as a road dog of 10 points or more with LaMelo in. All 3 of the teams that they faced so far have actually gone over the total. And the average total is about 229. So I know Timberwolves are a really good defensive team. But I think the Hornets defense just plays so bad that Minnesota should be able to score in this spot. So I lean towards the over. Don't want to play the big number. I think 14.5 is a really, really big number. It's enough to keep me off. And that's what the line makers are doing. They're saying if you want to back the Timberwolves in this spot, you're going to have to lay it. And I'm not willing to lay that. So let's see what you guys are on here in this one. JS says one of these huge favorites got to lose. I don't think it's going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially off of the loss that they had. I mean, they literally just gave a game away the other day. Tasha says they killed me Sunday. Jerry says Hornets are 6-2 straight up. Last 8 against the Timberwolves. Are they 6-2 straight up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are right. They are 6-2, but that goes back to like 2020. That wasn't these Timberwolves. They have been covering numbers though. They really have been covering numbers. Lime moves a lot of points though. That game on December 2nd, the Timberwolves were laying 5.5. They covered by 0.5 point. They won by 6. This line opened at 12.5. So that's 7 points of movement. That tells you that the Timberwolves, line makers are, like I said, not giving you a discount at all. That game also went over to 219.5 as well. So I think I think this one goes up and over. I may add the over. Like I said, I just want Anthony Edwards to be ruled in. Young Harlow says he took Rozier over 4.5 assists in this one. Mr. Nice Guy likes LaMelo Ball over his 21.5 points. EQ says gut feeling. Hornets do cover here in this spot. Tasha says some games you just got to leave alone. And I'm with you, Tasha. I agree. If I'm not playing the over, I'm staying off of this game as well. Colin says love Kyle Anderson, slow-mo in this spot. Over 4.5 assists versus the Hornets. Gets more minutes without Conley. I forgot to mention Mike Conley is also ruled out. Hornets are bleeding assists with their subpar defense. Could not talk you off of this one, Colin. I think that's a really sharp look. SK says if Nick Richards is out, they can't compete at all with Rudy and Cat. And I would agree there. I mean, JT Thor is like probably 7 foot, 110 pounds, soaking wet. Like he is super, super linky. He gonna have his hands full today. Jabari says Rudy had 26 last game. That's probably what you remember. Yeah, I know he was dominant. I mean, he looked like he was doing dunks like he was in a dunk contest. Wemby says he's leaning Hornets plus 14.5, but don't feel confident since they killed me before. Gonna leave this game alone. I couldn't talk you off. Call me Aries likes Nas Reed. Dude's been on fire. Could not talk you off of Nas Reed, especially if this game's a blowout. He could definitely lead that second unit. He's been filling it up for sure as well. Jerry says Hornets messed me up on Friday versus the Spurs, but I'm taking them tonight on a 3-teamer. Okay. All right, cool. Jay Gill says he likes Timberwolves early, first quarter, get in and get out. He says get in all the way and then get out. Jay Props, he likes LaMelo. He says he's cleared his PRA over 34.5 every game since returning from injury. So some love for LaMelo here. EQ says wouldn't be surprised Timberwolves team total finished in the 120s. And I would agree with that. I think that they're going to be able to score for sure. Coop says, do you have any thoughts on the Hornets small ball lineup? Cat, Gobert, and Nas Reed should have a field day in the paint. I would agree, Coop. You're going to have to put Miles Bridges down there, who's not a big guy. So, I mean, he can play pretty big, but, I mean, he's going to have his hands full if he got to, maybe against Cat, but not against Gobert, Nas Reed either. Those guys can score for sure. Takari likes LaMelo for 20. What up, Fremons? Tariq likes Nas Reed threes. And Fremont says he likes the Wolves first half and full game tonight. He likes both, so he thinks it's a get-right spot. Off of that loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder, like I said, it'd be over for me. I don't feel confident laying 14.5 in this spot, though. Next game up, probably the biggest, the most intriguing game, the one I'll be locked in the most for on today's slate. We got the Celtics. They are laying 3 points, laying 2.5 points now on the road against the Dallas Mavericks. So this game to me is extremely interesting, just because it's spot-wise, right? It's really, really rare that you see a team laying, points on the second leg of a back-to-back, facing a super rested team, right? I was looking at the games yesterday, and the Clippers actually had 4 days of rest yesterday, and they were playing against a Brooklyn team that only had 1 day of rest. And I was like, man, I wonder if it's going to be rest versus rust. Like, how does this pan out? And you see the Clippers, they actually came out really, really rusty in that spot. The Brooklyn Nets jumped out on them 16-0. And their defense, really was subpar throughout the entirety of the game until they went on a massive run to end that game yesterday. That could happen here in this spot. And if I had to play it, I think I would want to get in and get out with Boston in this spot. And I'm not even sure if I would play the spread. I might even look towards the team total over. We know Boston has been the best first half team in the league. And I just don't like the spot full game. I think I'm real big on like rest and stuff like that. ATS wise, looking at Boston on the road, they're just 8-12-2. So they're not even a profitable team on the road. Dallas has looked kind of wishy-washy. They look good, then they don't look good. In their last few games, they haven't played a game since they lost to the Lakers the other day. And in that game, they got smoked. They lost by 17 points. But they beat the Pelicans, and then they lost. Before that, they lost to the Pelicans. Then they beat the Knicks, and before that, they lost to the Grizzlies. Before that, they beat the Timberwolves. So they haven't lost back-to-back games in quite a while. I want to say there's something like 5-2, 6-2, straight up in against the spread as a home dog this season. They will be turned up for this game, I do believe. I know let me just double check real quick. So Drew Holiday didn't play yesterday. He's going to be in. Porzingis got ruled out, and I want to talk about Porzingis a little bit more in a second. But you also get Al Horford back, who didn't play yesterday also. So one thing I looked at when Porzingis got rolled out, I don't like Boston as much on the road without Porzingis. I know that this Dallas team is, they don't have a lot. They don't try to get to the rim a lot like Luka does, and I guess they do kind of try to get to the rim, but they shoot a ton of threes. Boston is actually the best 3-point defensive team in the league over the last 5 to 10 games. Like they only giving up about eight attempts a night, 8 makes a night. But do they regress in this spot on the second leg of a back-to-back against the Dallas team that has Luka? You're gonna have to slow Luka down, and if you don't, he will get into the paint and kick it out to those wide open 3-point shooters, guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., guys like Kyrie, guys like Grant Williams, who's also in a revenge spot here tonight as well. So this is a game that I'm gonna watch. I'm not betting this game unless it's a live betting opportunity presents itself, but not a game I feel extremely confident in. I do think it's a big Tatum game just because, like I said, last night against the Houston Rockets, he didn't play well. He shot 4 for 17 from the field, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, only had 18 points. So I can see him playing well. I don't want to take the Boston Celtics on the road. I remember the Boston Celtics being at Golden State and losing that game as a short favorite as well, without Porzingis in that spot. So no Porzingis for me. I know Dallas isn't the greatest team, but, major rest spot here. If I'm taking Boston, I like them early. First quarter, first half, probably team totals over. And I do lean towards the full over as well, because no Porzingis for me means that their defense is going to be a little bit more suspect. I could see Dallas getting, Al Horford in a lot of pick and roll situations, to having him guarding Luka and guarding Kyrie. Man, I love Al Horford. He's been playing the league for a long time. He's an excellent defender still. He's not going to be able to guard Luka. He's not going to be able to guard Kyrie in this spot. So I think if I'm playing total, I'm playing over or not playing anything at all. I know Boston has been a defensive team, but I like this game to go up and over the total. Boston has gone under in 4 straight games. Dallas has actually gone back and forth, under, over in their last 5 or 6 games as well. So Boston first quarter, Boston first half would be the way I'm playing it. But then I would probably just be watching the rest. I do lean towards the full game to go up and over the total, thinking that we'll see pace in this spot and some tired legs from Boston, but I do think that they'll be able to score. So Tatum points props, the full game over, and Boston first quarter, first half, team total overs, or against the spread in the first half is the way I would play it if I had to make any plays in this one. Let's see what you guys are on in the chat. LA Mackin says he likes Charlotte team total under 102. He don't care if LaMelo Ball coming back or not. EQ says, yeah, game of the night. JT likes Derek Lively under 7.5 rebounds. Even without Porzingis there, JT, you still think he goes under the 8 rebounds? Tasha says, why the spread so low? Because it feels like a trap. Tasha, she says, yeah, that 3 is suspicious. It is. The Celtics are the better team. I will say that. But Dallas after a loss, man, they really come out to play basketball. J Prop says, give me the Celtics -3. He think it's gonna be sweat free. Okay. Vaughn says he really wanted to get there with an Embiid under, not thinking he'll get a full slate of minutes. But when he looks at it, Philly at home with the line greater than 10, he's been killing those teams. So yeah, I couldn't talk you off of that, Vaughn. Let's see. Tariq says, if the Mavs are rusty, they'll turn up in the third quarter. I would agree with this, Tariq. Like I said, the rest versus rust thing. So you got one team coming off the second leg of a back-to-back. They'll be in form, right? Tatum will want to play well in this game against Luka, especially if he's, trying to get his name in that MVP hat. What you do against other, premier defenders, what you do against other premier MVP candidates does matter. So I would agree with this sentiment that Tatum has a big game early. Boston, first quarter, first half, that's what they do. They score a lot of points. EQ says, go ahead, man. Celtics first half and Mavs full game is what he likes. Vaughn likes Tatum points. Dante says, since 2018, home dogs with more than 3 days of rest facing an opponent on the second leg of a back-to-back. I did look at this as well. He says they're 4-1 straight up, 4-0-1 against the spread. Didn't play, but do lean Mavs +2.5. I think the Mavs can get it done just situationally. Jerry says Mavs been off since the 17th. Luka may have his legs tonight. Yeah, he could come out a little rusty early, but I would definitely be looking at Luka props if I'm playing anything in this game. Luka, Kyrie, Boston, when they do struggle, it's typically against guards. So could not talk you off. Call Me Eric says that Kyrie hate for Boston runs deep. Give me Kyrie 25 points tonight. He like Kyrie to go off tonight. Jay Gill reminding us, he says Kyrie is a Kobe guy too. Going back to that earlier comment. So maybe Kyrie goes off tonight against his old team on the day that Kobe dropped 81 points, going back in history. So, okay, I couldn't talk you off there. Wemby likes Luka over 31.5 points. Malik says lean over look with no KP. I was beating myself up for not taking his blocks yesterday. Yeah, he played well last night against Houston. I think he had 5 blocks against Houston last night. Jay Gill says already took Boston first half earlier, so we shall see how that shakes out. Bet on JC like Luka triple-double plus Tatum double-double. Luka triple-double is plus 400. Tatum double-double is plus 150. Luka triple-double is plus 400. That's a little high. I didn't think you would get that. Let's see. Loketo TV says, hey, Chris, would you play Wemby under 12.5 rebounds and assists? Probably not, man. I think Wemby likes to play well against other big men. We saw what he did against what's his name? Against Giannis, right? We saw what he did against KD earlier this season. So if he really admires you, like, and he knows, who you are, like Wemby tries to really get up for those games. So I wouldn't look towards the under, but Wemby is so tricky because, Coach Pop is going to monitor his minutes as well. So I'm not sure what to do with Wemby. I don't bet on Wemby, for those reasons. Until he gets off those minutes restrictions, I'm not putting my money on Victor Wembanyama, but he has looked well. He has looked really, really good in the last couple games. Let's keep going. A lot of thoughts on that Celtics and Mavs game. We got 2 more games to get to real quick. The next one we got is the Bulls and the Suns. I actually thought this game was going to be played in Chicago. I thought Phoenix had to jump on a plane last night after that win last night. So the Bulls come in here. They were getting 5.5 points. Now you see the line go down to – now you see the line a little bit of money come in on Chicago. The line actually down to 5 now. Injury report for this game, Grayson Allen is questionable. He I think whatever the injury is, I think it's a knee or ankle or something. He did like roll it or hit knees with somebody in the first quarter at the beginning of the game. He actually came back in to finish the first quarter, but I guess, maybe some inflammation or, something happened. So he's not listed as in yet. Also, Eric Gordon tossed up the play, and Bobo has also been rolled out, even though he really hasn't been part of the rotation. On the Chicago side, they look like they're going to be pretty healthy. Of course, Zach LaVine will continue to miss time. Torrey Craig will continue to miss time. And it looks like Patrick Williams is going to give it a go. He is listed as likely to play in this spot today. So looking at this game, man, I was be the first person to admit, I talked about on Friday how much I love the Pelicans in that spot. The Pelicans got smoked. Devin Booker came out there, hit him for 52. He went off, had 25 in the first quarter. And you see Phoenix, they're really starting to put it together. I watched this game last night against Indiana from start to finish. And defensively, they still struggled, right? Like it seemed like they didn't have a pop. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Pacers been covering so many spreads is because the Pacers play so hard, right? They didn't cover the spread last night, but it really was because the game just kind of ended. They couldn't stop turning the ball over for whatever reason. Maybe they just ran out of gas because it was the last game of that road trip for them. I think it was fifth game of the road trip. But Phoenix did cover last night. But now you get them on the second leg of a back-to-back. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, who went bonkers. He had to go crazy last night. They really needed KD to go crazy because Indiana kept scoring. They wouldn't stop scoring either. So Phoenix has looked a little bit better. We know that they aren't the greatest home team so far this season. I want to say one of the worst home ATS records at just 7-16-1 against the spread. This Chicago team, without Zach LaVine, of course, has continued to look really, really good. They've won 2 in a row, beat Memphis, beat Toronto, covered both spreads. Defenses look really, really good. Only gave up 96 points to Memphis the other day. You get them off, a day's rest, and beat Toronto. Covered that 2-point line as well. They've looked good, man. 3 of their last 4 games they won, and they've covered, like I said, back-to-back spreads. This is the start of a 3-game road trip for them. They actually play in LA, but they don't play until Friday. I want to say that game's on Friday. Looking at Phoenix, second leg of a back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights for them as well. They played Friday, had Saturday off, played yesterday, and then they're going to play again today. Last game for them of a 2-game homestand, they go to Dallas and actually play Dallas on Wednesday. So do I think they win the game tonight? I think so. I know Chicago has been playing a little bit better. But Nurkic didn't play too many minutes because he fouled out early in the 4th quarter for anybody that was watching. So I think you got Nurkic down there to, bang with Vucevic. And then, Chicago, who's been a really good defensive team, they're gonna have their hands full because now Bradley Beal's starting to get his feet underneath him. Kevin Durant I think he won Western Conference Player of the Week. He been hooping. I'm talking about getting to his spot, pulling up. Ain't nothing you can really do about it. Patrick Williams gonna have his hands full today, and then Devin Booker has looked really aggressive as well. I think if you like Phoenix, you probably want to get in and get out, though. We know that they can kind of sputter towards the end of the game, and they did so yesterday. They actually gave up the lead in the fourth quarter last night before, coming down and getting it back last night. But Chicago's going to play tough. They do typically play better at home. I think if I like this game, I'm looking towards, maybe a Phoenix team total. But I do think Chicago can cover the 5 points. I do think that Phoenix can win this game by, one possession. So I guess I kind of lean Chicago. And I think that, it's going to be a slower paced game, but Phoenix offense is really, really good. And they've actually been playing a little bit better defense as well. That game last night went under the 245. The game against the Pelicans went under the 238. And the game against Sacramento went under the 245 as well. So 3 straight unders for them since they've, really gotten all of their guys back and healthy. So I kind of lean towards you know what? I won't even lean towards the under because I do think on the second leg of a back-to-back, it could impact the defense a little bit more. But you're still going to have to stop them. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to be stopped. 117 last night against the Pacers, 123 against the Pelicans, 119 against the Kings. And I know the Bulls are a really good defensive team, but I think Phoenix should be able to score the ball. So if I like Phoenix, I'm probably staying away from the spread. Probably looking at a team total to go over. The total right now looks like it's about 227. So half of that is 113. Add 2.5 points. 116.5. I think Phoenix can score 116 tonight. I know the Bulls play a little bit faster, but Phoenix has actually been playing fast. And if they're going to force the pace, then I think they'll have to keep up with Phoenix in this spot. So Phoenix team total, I think is what I say, 116.5, 115.5. I think that's probably the best look in this game. Maybe even a first half team total because their offense can sputter and slow down a little bit in the second half. So those are my thoughts on this game. Let me know what you guys are on before we get to the last one. Let's see. David says Luka triple-double props have been priced so low, and this spread screams trap. With you there, David. Will says, what up, though, Chris? He says Derek White over his 17.5 is the only thing he's playing. The Mavs have given up 20 or more points their last 6 games to guards, and no Porzingis means his usage rate goes even higher. I could see this, Will. Yeah, I could definitely see this. I feel like I need to double check it, but I think Dallas been giving up a bunch of threes as well. And Derek White has no problem letting it go. He shoots so many 3-pointers. So I couldn't talk you off. Jay Gill says defense versus offense. Who do you like most is the question. That's a good way to kind of handicap the game. Let's see. Marcus says, man, Ski and Jay on it. Not sure what that means, Marcus. What's Ski and Jay on? Let me know. Let's see. Colin says, was looking at Kobe White, points, rebounds, and assists. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, no way I can talk you off, Colin. He's gonna have to play really, really well tonight, especially if DeRozan is off. Coop asking the same thing about Kobe White, points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him crush this number without Zach LaVine, and it's a pace-up spot. We know the other team is going to score, so I could not talk you off at all. Malik, resident Chicago guy, says, I'm nervous for this game. Can't trust the Suns' defense, but if the Bulls' offense seizes up, it's going to get bad quick. Looking at Caruso, PRA steals and block. He liked that new market over on FanDuel, and he likes Kevin Durant blocks as well. Tariq says, I can only go Bulls here. Suns back-to-back against fast-paced Pacers, tired legs. I could see that. They were moving the ball. One thing that, if you watched that game last night, one thing Phoenix struggled with, they struggle to stay in front of the ball. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, those guys are not good defenders. So what happens is Nurkic ends up on the backside. Kevin Durant ends up on the backside. And then they got, their man's in the dunker spot when they step up and they're getting easy layups. Guys like Obi Toppins, Jalen Smith hit a bunch of 3-pointers last night, specifically in the first quarter. But I want to say he finished with like 15 to 16 points, cleared his points prop early. So if Kobe White can do the same thing, that could be success for Chicago tonight for sure. And there was a trend about fading teams on the second leg of a back-to-back after playing the Pacers. Shout out to my guy RC for that. Let's see what that number looks like real quick. So opponent, previous team equals Pacers, and rest equals 0. So teams that are coming off a game against the Pacers so far this season are 5-2 to the under. I'm sorry, 5-2 to the over. Those games are averaging 246 points. and they're going over by about 6 points per game. So that's 71%. Although the Celtics and the Pacers did go under, but they were playing against each other. So, oh, hold on. You know what? I did that wrong. Let's look at this again. So previous opponent team equal Pacers. So 4-2 to the over. Games going over by 9 points. Games are averaging 245 points, but back-to-back unders. Hawks and the Wizards went under, and the Bucks and the Spurs went under as well. So it started off as a pretty successful trend, but I mean, tired legs, yeah. Let's see. Delta points allowed. Wow. This is interesting. This says Bulls team total over. Every team that's played against the Pacers on the second leg of a back-to-back and then, are unrested, their opponent has actually gone over their team total every single game. The Hawks allowed 6 point. They allowed 7 points more than they were supposed to against the Wizards. The Bucks allowed the Spurs to score 2.5 points more than they were supposed to. The Rockets allowed the Suns to score 15 more points than they were supposed to. Hawks allowed the Nets to score 28.5 points more than they were supposed to, and on and on and on. So this says Bulls team total over. I think I might get there with the over now that we kind of talking it out. This, to me, that makes the most sense. I think it'll be a faster paced game just because I don't see the Suns being stopped. Really, I still think that they'll be able to score. So maybe over 227 is the best play in this game based on this trend specifically. Anyway, Phoenix versus Chicago. Okay. What else y'all got in the chat? Thank you for bringing that up, Tariq. That's why we do the show, man, so we can cap it together. Call Me Aries says, so maybe Bulls team total over. There you go. He was on it before I was. And there go my guy, RC. He says, yes, I've been on that trend, Chris. So, RC, you on that? Are you playing that today? I wonder if that's a play. Jamie says he's only doing straights and live bets. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off. No parlays for me today. Let's get to the last game. No more comments on that game. Let's go Hawks and Kings. I'm really interested in this game. And it's a difficult game. It's a very, very difficult game to kind of handicap. So injury report wise, I didn't see the latest update on DeJounte Murray, but we probably won't have one anytime soon just because this game will be played so late. But I did see that he popped up on the injury report. I think it was some right ankle soreness or something. What was the DeJounte Murray injury? Either way, he's questionable for this game. Now he's been downgraded. Let's see real quick. I want to find out what that was. I did see it pop up. DeJounte Murray. Excuse me. What was it for DeJounte Murray today? It was I can't find it. But anyway, DeJounte Murray is still listed. He's listed as questionable to play, even though he wasn't listed as questionable to play, yesterday. So Trae Young is out. He's in concussion protocol. He took an elbow to the face in that last game against the Cleveland Cavaliers and never returned in that spot. You don't really have anybody on Sacramento, especially any of their starters that are listed as questionable. This team is super well rested in this spot now, and it's a spot that screams Kings. But they've just been playing really, really bad basketball. I'll tell you guys straight up, the Kings are the right side in the game, in my estimation. I know that the Hawks have been playing a little bit better recently, but this is like a terrible spot for them. Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, fifth game in 8 nights for the Atlanta Hawks. They are seeking revenge. They lost at home 117-110 back on December 29th as 1-point dogs. That game went under the total of 252.5. 7 straight unders in the head-to-head matchups between these two teams. Looking at Atlanta, the last 5 games, they are the worst offensive rated team in the last 5 games. Sacramento, 14th, which also leads me towards the under in this spot. But Kings to cover and under do not go together in the same sentence. It's just one of those weird spots. So looking at Sacramento, like I said, they had 3 days off of rest. They're coming off 4 straight losses. And even after this game, they don't play again until Thursday. Atlanta, 6th defensive rated over the last 5 games. Sacramento, 18th defensive rated last 5 games. Sacramento has been the better rebounding team over the last 5 games. They take care of the ball, they turn it over less. And both teams are actually 6th and 13th in pace as well. So we know Atlanta likes to, run really, really fast, but they've actually slowed down just a tad bit. Sacramento also slowed down just a tad bit as well. The biggest thing that I looked at in this game was the spot, right? It's road dogs playing their fifth game in 8 nights, facing an opponent that's had 3 days or more of rest. It backs the Sacramento Kings heavily in this spot. 7-32 are those road dogs facing the team. Road dogs that's playing their fifth game in 8 nights. That's playing against a team that's had at least 3 days of rest. 7-32. That's 17.9%. Says that you fade this Atlanta Hawks team. Those teams are 10, 28, and 1 against the spread. That's 26.3%. That means 73.7% of the times the home team wins and covers the number. And I got to thinking about this, like, why would the Kings be laying 8 in this spot when they've been playing such bad basketball? And it's because this is a King spot. If you go through and kind of look at the trend over the last 3 years, because what I gave you guys was since 2018. But if you just look at from 2021 to now, that trend gets so much stronger. The last 3 years, those road favorites playing their fifth game in 8 nights and facing the team that has at least 3 days of rest, they're 3-19, 3-19-1 against the spread. So that's 87.4% says that the Kings cover and win the game. I do think it's going to be more of a defensive, game, just because Atlanta has been playing a little bit slower and been playing a little bit more defense. And that's really difficult to take an under in the Kings game, especially with them being home favorites. I think there's something like 12-6 to the over. So I couldn't pull the trigger on the under, but I do think it's the right spot. And I do think the Kings are the right side, even though I haven't gotten involved in this one yet. So those are my thoughts. Didn't really look at any player props. Let me know what you guys are thinking here in this one. Let's go back to the chat. Right toe issue. That's what it was, Kyle. I knew it was lower leg somewhere. He says he thought he saw doubtful. It might have been doubtful. Wemby says he got the Cavs on the money line with Luka over 31.5 points, Wemby over 23.5 points and assists. Good luck tonight. Best of luck to you as well, Wemby. David says gut feeling. Will you have to beg Bogdanovich to pass the ball? Man, Bogdanovich could absolutely go crazy. That Kings 3-point defense is really, really bad. It's really, really bad. Colin says Keegan Murray has been unlocked and is driving to the basket a lot more. He is becoming a multi-level scorer. He's always been in the Hawks defense is not good right now. Give me Keegan Murray over 17.5 points. God, Keegan Murray points at 17.5. That's a little too rich for my blood. That's a high number. Best of luck, Colin. I hope you cash it, man. Ronald Cox says, hey, Chris, on the team/games that you have a lean on, do you ever parlay them together for a small amount? I do this often, knowing it's a lot, knowing it most likely won't cash fully, but I've gotten decent cash outs. I actually do not, Ronald. I hate placing bets that lose, honestly. Every time I place a bet, I want it to be green. So I don't play like a lot of lottos or a lot of parlays. And it's for that reason. Like, I feel like it's just, for me specifically, it gets into like just like creating bad habits. Because I'll try to like create a whole bunch of parlays. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what if this and this and this and this? And I used to do that when I first started betting. I don't do that anymore. I try to be locked in on the things that I absolutely love. And also, I want to be locked in on that game that I absolutely love. And I don't want to have a whole bunch of bets, left and right. So those are my thoughts there. I know a lot of people cash out on, my leans that I don't play. But if I say I don't play it, I really don't play it. Shadow says, I don't see anything on DeJounte Murray questionable. Am I missing something? Questionable means getting traded. Yeah, it could mean getting traded. Absolutely. Let's see. Silvar says, Chris, what do you think about the Kings team total over? I think Atlanta been playing a little bit of defense, man. I think I could see Atlanta coming out and keeping the game competitive early, but if they ran out of gas late, it would not surprise me. The Kings having 3 days off of rest could be in that same spot like Dallas, right? The same spot like the Clippers yesterday, where they come out initially, they don't have it all together. And then as the game goes on, they kind of get their footing back, right? That rest versus rust, they could be super rusty early in the game. And Atlanta's been in better form. This, like I said, they played 2 games in the last 3 days. So it really wouldn't surprise me if they, get attacked early. But this is the late night sleepy spot as well. Shout out to my guy Jay Money for telling me about this probably 2 years ago. This is the late night sleepy spot. Atlanta first game on the West Coast, flying from Atlanta, which is all the way in the southeast, all the way southeast, all the way cross country to Sacramento on the whole opposite side of the world. You're gonna get 3 hours of time, but body clock gonna be wrong. So it could be, if this game is close early, what I'm saying is, potential Kings team total over at halftime or Kings on the spread at the halftime as well. Gabe gets buckets, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well. So Gabe gets buckets, says he likes Brandon Miller 2+ threes tonight and Fox 2+ threes tonight. Should be right around plus 110-ish. Lance says, hey, Chris, appreciate all the time and effort today. How you feel about Bobby Portis over 11.5 points and assists? Why not look at his rebounds versus the assists, Lance? I'm curious to know why you like his assists more than his points. I don't see Bobby Portis pass that much. When he get the ball, he score. But I do think he bounces back. I know he didn't play well. Their bench got absolutely obliterated in that last game. So I see a big game from Bobby Portis for sure. I could definitely see that. Last comment, Colin says Keegan is averaging 18 and a half this month. In the month of January, he's taking 14 field goal attempts. He's finding his footing in the offense after adjusting with his major new role on defense. Yeah, I would agree. That makes sense, Colin. He has been playing a lot better defense for sure. One of the reasons why I kind of lean towards the under. Anthony Edwards is in today. Just came out from Dane Moore and Underdog as well. So yeah, we got Anthony Edwards being in. I do like that over. If you want the over, you want to jump on that one now as well. So let's get back to it. Top looks on the board for today overall. And if you're still here with me, we've been on for an hour and 11 minutes. Hit the like button for me if you can. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get into the top looks for today. So going back to the very beginning, Bucks and Pistons, only taking the points with the Pistons. Only taking the total to go over the 240. Did that total move? I know it was 247 and a half, 247, whatever that number is. I would only be looking towards the over in that spot and taking the points with the Pistons yet again. Spurs and Sixers, a small lean for me towards the Spurs just because I feel like 14 is such a big number. Also lean towards the over in that game. I think it could be a fast-paced game. Sixers may not take that game extremely serious, which would lead to Spurs being able to score more points. But no strong look for me on the total. I would lean towards the over. End up taking the points with the Spurs. Cavs and Magic, top play of the day for me. Actually, the only bet that I played so far. I'm going to put some smaller bets in, but this was a 2-unit play that I played. I don't play too many 2-unit plays. Give me Cavs. Like I said, I took them last night when they were plus 1.5. Now they are 2.5-point favorites, I want to say. 2.5-point favorites. Super trappy game. We'll see how it goes, but that's my top look of the day. Grizzlies and the Raptors. I lean towards the under 226 in this game. No play at all. 7 feels about appropriate for me. Can't back the Grizzlies and definitely can't back the Raptors right now either. So off of that game altogether. Hornets and Timberwolves, I lean the over in that game. Like I said, the total is going to be on the move. It is actually at 220 right now, up to 221.5 on some books already. Anthony Edwards being in, helps that offense tremendously. So I do lean towards the over. Couldn't talk anybody off just looking at the Timberwolves team total to go over. Not laying 14.5 points, though. It feels like too big of a number for me. Timberwolves could win this game by 20, or the Hornets could kind of keep it close and, potentially lose by 10 points. That ain't even close, actually. Celtics and Mavs, like I said, if I'm playing that game, I'm looking at Tatum over his points prop. I'm looking at the over for the full game. I think the total is 239.5 right now. And then I'm also, favorite play will probably be Celtics first quarter, first half. They could potentially run out of gas late in this game. I could kind of see that happening. Bulls and Suns, we just kind of talked about that one, talked it out. Over 220. What is the total right now? 226.5. I think that's the top look in the game. Chicago should be able to score with Phoenix being on the second leg of a back-to-back. Phoenix, I don't think anybody can really stop them right now. So I lean towards the over. Potentially might get there. Probably do a little bit more work. That game doesn't start until another 3 hours. And the last game, like I said, man, I know it's not the greatest spot for Sacramento, but this the get-right spot for Sacramento. I do lean towards the under still, even though it is 238. And the Kings defense has been god-awful. But I think, getting a couple days rest should be able to help their defense a lot. Atlanta also, worst offensive rated team over the last 5 games. So all those things kind of working in their favor. Spot where Atlanta could absolutely run out of gas today. We'll see how it goes, though. And those are the top looks for me today, man. Let's see what you guys are liking in the chat. I'm going to get a couple guys up from Twitter, a couple of my guys, and then we'll get up off here, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. Let's see. Real quick, Lance, no. Ant's Young Harlow reminded us that Ant got ruled in, so it's cool. So is Mr. Nice Guy, and Tariq says he got the Cavs. A little worried though. We'll see how it goes. Mr. Nice Guy says, who is that? Lavari ruled out. Who is that? Who do you pick for Grizz and Raptors game? Nobody. Who they? Karis LeVert got ruled out. That's what you was trying to say. Yeah, I saw he was doubtful with that wrist injury. He didn't play in the last game either against Atlanta the other day. Let's go. I got the guys up though. Let's go, Ben. Ben, talk to me, man. How you doing?
Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you?
Playing fun NFL Sunday yesterday. Transition back to the association today.
Absolutely. That was fun, man. That was really fun.
Yeah. So I'm on the cab with you. You know, huge fatigue spot for Orlando. I wasn't in when you were talking about it, so I'll go quick on this one just because I'm sure you covered it pretty well. I want to say 7th game in 11 days for Orlando, and the 5th game in 12 days for Cleveland due to that kind of crazy trip to Europe. You know, obviously now they're calibrated back. They've been playing good ball. And obviously Orlando's going to miss a ton of guards. And if you want to play with Cleveland, you got to be able to defend guards. On top of that, you know, Vegas has got a pretty good feel for this matchup. First time in Cleveland. Cleveland covered on a -4.5 in Cleveland. Game comes back to Orlando with the spread all over Orlando at -2.5. All of the Cleveland cover is a favorite. Orlando covers that one. The game's still in Orlando, but opens short at 1.5 versus 2.5. So just with how they've moved that line, they moved it towards the team that's covered every single time. So I took the money line. I didn't get it quite as good as you. I got -110 on the money line straight up, but obviously, you know, the -128 or whatever you can get right now is probably good too. And then like you, I really like that Hawks Kings game later. I got 2 plays in that game. I got Sabonis triple double at +165 this morning, and then DeJounte Murray 15 points and 8 assists. If you just wanted to play the 9 assists for Murray, more than welcome. He's over in 6 of 8 games at the 8.5 assist line without Trae Young. He's over 15 plus points and 7.5 assists in 7 of 8 games without Trae Young since joining the Hawks. And then Sabonis triple double. Pretty easy one here. When the Kings win at home, they play through Sabonis. He's got 10 assists and sorry, I'm getting my notes out right here while I'm driving. In 6 to the last 7 home wins.
You broke up just a little bit, Ben. Can you hear me?
You said you got me still now?
Yeah, you good now. You good.
You got me still now?
Yeah, you good.
I'll repeat what I just said a little bit. Basically, when the Kings win at home, as of late, Sabonis hits this triple-double very regularly. 4 straight Kings wins. He's hit triple-doubles. And obviously, like you said, big fade spot for Atlanta tonight. So if we like the Kings to win, we like Sabonis to get the triple-double as well.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm on tonight.
Absolutely. Okay. Hey, Ben, you got some good looks, man. I think you're gonna sweep the board tonight. Appreciate you contributing to the show. Let's go, Ben. Hey, Ben, real quick, I looked at that spot you were just talking about as well. So teams playing their 7th game in 11 nights since the 2018 season, when they're unrested dogs in that spot, they are 64 and 177 straight up. That's 26.6% of the times they win. So that means that's 73.4% of the time they don't win. So you got a good number on that as well.
I did put a little lotto in too. I was a little aggressive with this, but I played the Cavs alt spread at -5.
Okay.
With DeJounte Murray double-double, Sabonis triple-double. Right around +2,000.
There go that lotto people was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, it's not that crazy. Like we said, Sabonis 4 straight triple-doubles at home. DeJounte Murray, I believe it's 3 double-doubles out of the last 5 without Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we like the Cavs to win with emphasis tonight. So
there's
worse things to sprinkle out of that, but I'll contribute that for anybody who wants to.
I like it. I like it a lot. Hey, best of luck tonight, Ben. I hope you cash it, my brother. Hope you cash. Let's go, Godspeed. Godspeed, talk to me, man.
What's good, Chris? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you?
Doing good, man. Ready to make some cash tonight. I actually got a few spots I really like on this slate. So I'm just gonna get straight to it. I'm gonna give out I give out 3 straights, and I'm gonna drop a threes late on my Twitter. So be on the lookout for that. But I got Nas Reed over 12.5 points. He's over that in 7 out of the last 10 games, averaging just 13 points. He had 23 points versus the Hornets earlier this season. Granted, Anthony Edwards didn't play that game, but even in the game prior to that, he still had 16 points in the game with Anthony Edwards. And the 2 positions that he played, the Hornets really struggled to stop centers and power forward, so he's going to play a little bit of both. So I really like Nas Reed points tonight. His threes, I can't talk you off that. I want to say he got 4 threes in his last 2 games, so he really been hitting his threes. And then shit, you better shoot at home, so why not? But I love Nas Reed. And then I'm going to my guy Bobby Portis. I took his over 10.5 points on FanDuel. I want to say I got it at -115. But he's over in 8 out of 9 road games when he attempts 10 field goal attempts. Last game, he only had 4 points. He ain't really shoot the ball for good reason. I mean, Dame had 45 points. And, I mean, how can you get the ball out of his hands, you know what I'm saying, when he got shit going like that? But overall, Bobby Portis, similar to Nas Reed, he the guy that comes off the bench and don't get up, usually about 10 shots. And when he get up 10 shots, he averages 15 points. So I felt like that 10.5 was a little bit too low. He also covered it in 4 prior games versus the Detroit Pistons prior to last time when he had 4 points. And in that span, he averaged 18.4 points. So I like Bobby Portis tonight as a Pistons struggle versus big man. And last but not least, my cash cow, man. One of my cash cows, Derek White. I know his line is moved, but I got him at 15.5. Over on ESPN bet. Right now, I see a lot of books got 17.5, 16.5, a little bit of everything. But I like Derek White up to 25 points. I didn't take the ladder, but I'm gonna get right to it. So Derek White, he's over that 15.5 in 7 out of 10 games without Porzingis, and in that span, he's averaging 19 points. With Porzingis in the lineup, he's averaging 14 field goal attempts. So I played with the little tool and props I cash. So, like I said, with Porzingis, he averaging 14 field goal attempts. So with at least 12 field goal attempts, Derek White is averaging 22 points, and he's had 18.3 field goal attempts in his last 3 games. So he really shooting the ball. He's getting a lot of shots up. So I just told you that he averaging 22 points, 12 field goals. So in this game, without Porzingis, and he really been hot, I really like Derek White tonight. And the Mavs giving up the 4th most points to the shooting guard position. But that's what I got, Chris. Just Nas Reed over 12.5, Bobby Portis over 10.5, and Derek White over 15.5, playable to 16.5, 17.5, 18.5, whatever. I love Derek White tonight. But yeah, good luck tonight, everybody.
Hey, Godspeed, you got some great looks too, bro. I love the Nas Reed spot, and I love the Bobby Portis bounce back spot as well. Because he won't. I doubt that he'll have 2 bad games in a row against the Detroit Pistons. We already talked about how bad that defense rating is. And when I think about, like, as I hear you talk about Nas Reed, when you think about attacking the Charlotte Hornets, you can do it from any position, right? But centers have really done a really good job against him. And when you want to play Nas Reed, you always want to do it when he's at home because he definitely feeds off that crowd. So this is something that could cash. You could have this money by halftime. Godspeed. Best of luck, bro. I appreciate you sharing the looks.
For sure, bro. Good luck tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's go, Ken. Ken, what's up, man? How you?
What's good, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Just enjoying for me, I love the NFL playoffs, man. It's like taking a test that you study for a whole year. To just have like a real good 2 days in the NFL, like up like 15 units. So
Nice. Okay.
try and keep it going, but not go too crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I got some looks. in the Raptors game. I know you don't want to talk about it too much. That's all good. I got some looks that I really like tonight. And it's not RJ rebounds and assists, even though if you've been listening and following me, you hit that counted 11 times. So it's a beautiful, beautiful run, but not there this time. I'm going to go with quickly tonight. The Grizz are bottom 5. I think they're the 4th worst team against the point guard in the NBA. When you go to hashtag NBA defense and you start looking it up, then you start looking at their 3-point percentage. They also allow the highest amount of threes to the point guard. So I'm on it quickly over his 18.5, and I'm over on his threes over 2.5. The Grizz they struggle to guard the 3-point line, and they really struggle against point guards. And I want to see. I expect to see quickly to come out and kind of take advantage of that. So those are my 2 looks on quickly. I also took Malik Beasley over his 10.5 against Detroit. I like to go after Malik Beasley every now and then. He's one of those players I like to follow and keep taking it when his lines are a bit low, and I think this one's a bit low against Detroit. He averages 13.7. He got 11 against them last game, and he only hit 1 3 against them. So when he gets to 11 points and only hit 1 3, that gives me a lot of confidence the next time around, because typically he's going to hit more than 1 3 in a game. I also took him and Gary Trent Jr. This is kind of my blunt money bet. Shout out Dream. It's him. I took him 15 and Gary Trent Jr. 15 points each at like plus 900. Just because I think somebody else in the Raptors is going to hit a bunch of threes. I just don't know who. And Gary Trent Jr. is one of those guys who, again, if he gets hot, he might go off and get some points up. So I took those 2 as a flyer. That's a really low stake, though. That's not one of those 4-unit plays, but my main plays are the quickly points quickly over his threes, and Malik Beasley's base over his points 10.5. I had a question I wanted to ask you, because I just use StatMuse for my query on it, which I don't know if it's always correct, but I'm trying to look at the Raptors after a day of rest, their team totals, and it looks like from what I found, typically they're going over this 116 or very close to it, like landing on 116. And knowing how bad the Grizzlies are defensively, like I completely agree with you. I can't take the Raptors to win any game by 7. That's too much. But to score points, and the reason why is like if we have Pirtle, that -7, I'm taking that every second, like no problem. I think the problem we're seeing with the Raptors right now, defensively, we're in top without Pirtle. It's actually a big problem. And we can't defensive rebound as much. So teams are staying in games with us or killing us, one of the two. So I was just like, again, you don't have to answer that right now, but it's more, I was curious about that because I really like that. I took the 116.5, but I'm not confident giving it out without making sure my data is correct, because essentially that line for us is pretty solid over the last since RJ and them will come in.
So Ken, the question is, how do the Raptors play with at least 1 day of rest since RJ came over? RJ and Quickly came over?
Since RJ and Quickly have come over.
Let's see. So RJ Barrett on the Raptors. I know it hasn't happened that many times yet.
6. I got it as 7. I've got them going over it 7 times.
7 times already? So at least as long as they're not on the second leg of a back-to-back is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it looks like they have gone over. Yeah, no, you're right. 7. No, hold on. 6. So 1, 2, 3. It looks like y'all were held under by the Knicks, of course, by the Celtics, and by the Jazz. But y'all played 9 games with RJ Barrett so far. Y'all 4 and 5 straight up, 5 and 4 against the spread. But y'all have gone over y'all team total in 6 of the 9. So I mean that's 66%. That's a winning proposition. Averaging 118 points per game so far.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give that. I'm 116.5. I took it. I took them to the over. I wanted to make sure my data was right before I saw people like, yeah, it's hitting at a high clip.
Yeah.
I thought so too. So that I really like that number. Something I talked about 3 weeks ago, where I was like going to keep an eye on it. And the team that's like, you actually mentioned it perfectly. Like, we're bad against good defensive teams, but Memphis are not a good defensive team. And I don't see how I do think maybe we let them stay in it, but I really like our team total. And I don't know we'll play team totals, but that's where I'm at. So those are my plays for tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, Ken. And I'm looking into it a little bit more. Like you said, the last 3 games y'all played, y'all haven't scored 113 points with more than a day's rest. But the last 3 teams y'all played was also against the Knicks, the Heat, and the Celtics. Slow pace, defensive minded, playoff caliber teams. This Grizzlies team is not any of those. So I could talk. I couldn't talk you off, Gav. I hope you cash it, bro. 116.5. I like it.
Yeah, respect. Good luck to everybody else.
Absolutely, bro. Right back at you. Let's go. Oh, I thought Zay was up. He must have dropped back down. Let's go, Zay, real quick before we get out of here. We got time to get one more in real quick. If you're still watching, man, like I said, do me a favor, hit the like button for me if you can. We'll get Zay up real quick, and then we'll get off of here. If you joined late, definitely go back in and check the video. Go through and listen to whatever section is that you want to hear. Zay, what's going on, my brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Chris.
What's up, man? How you?
I'm doing good. I had got a phone call, but my favorite player today is Sark Thompson. Over 5 rebounds. He been averaging 10.8 rebounds. Out of the last 6 out of 7 games, he hit that line 6 times.
But he got his rebounds that low?
He got his rebounds that low, bro.
I didn't even check out. See, I don't be looking at all these player prop markets. I got to start taking a deeper look. You talking about Detroit, series times, right?
He had 22 and 9 against the Bucks last game.
You think it had anything that I'm not trying to talk you up. You think it had anything to do with Isaiah Stewart missed that game, right? Or did he play that game? But he coming back today. You think that eats into his minutes or his opportunity or no?
I think he should get around 15 minutes today.
And still be able to get those 5 rebounds?
5 rebounds.
Still, you think he's still clear? Okay.
You can put it with his assists too. I think his rebounds and assists is like 6.5.
Okay, so taking the rebounds and assists.
Yeah, you can pair it up if you want to.
Okay, yeah, I see 5.5 rebounds for Sir at FanDuel at plus 120 right now. It looks like the over 4.5 is juiced on ESPN Bet down to minus 150. So the books are anticipating that it happens. Okay, I like it, Zay. Best of luck, bro. I hope you cash, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. That's it for today. I'm gonna probably add a few plays just so you guys know. I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna be, but I want to go through and just kind of finalize the card real quick. Detroit plus 12.5, Milwaukee and Detroit over 247, Charlotte, Minnesota over whatever the number is right now as well. Probably my 3 other favorite plays. And like I said, I gotta wait and see what happens with the news with DeJounte Murray for the later game, but I do like that game to go under, and I like the Kings, man. I know it sounds crazy, but I do like the Kings. Also looking at the over in Chicago and Phoenix as well. I think I'm probably gonna get there in that game as well. So best of luck to everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Already start looking at the card. I think it's like 5 games tomorrow, and it's a couple good ones as well. So I hope you guys cash today, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'm out. Seth, I think he was talking about Asir Thompson rebounds. If you're still listening, I think it was Asir Thompson rebounds he was talking about. Over 5.5, over 5.5, depending on where you get the number at. Looks like the books have opened it up now. I don't know if it was taken down or not, but 5.5 is actually the best number you can get on DraftKings at minus 1. Oh no, FanDuel got it at plus 118. So books kind of anticipating that he won't get 6 rebounds, but we'll see. Best of luck, man. Shout out to the YouTube chat and everybody that's still here with me. I'm out.